I was probably a hyperactive child. I grew up in Chicago, Chicago area. And yeah, I don't know. I was very into computers as a kid. I was into skateboarding. I had a lot of friends that were like really heavily into music. Music was kind of the thing that like got me, to meet new people and have a connection with new people. You find people who were kind of in the same music you were. And, that was just sort of where, the cool kids were. And so that was kind of how I fell into it. And I was super passionate about music. I was early on, like, anything from hip hop to industrial bands to, techno as I kind of got into that world. But yeah, that was kind of my origins. And I was into art heavily until I had an art class in my freshman year of high school with an art teacher who failed me for the first time. First time I got anything other than an A in an art class. I failed art fundamentals, and is the only art teacher at my high school. So there was some friends of mine that were kind of pushing me to say graphic art was kind of maybe something I should pick instead. And the school I went to had a lot of printing presses and darkroom gallery cameras and all this sort of like low tech that was donated by the printing industry. And I really got into like desktop publishing, which turned into 3D graphics, and that turned into web design and such. So that's kind of what my childhood was like. My high school years too, started getting into going to raves. And I started DJing raves, and more than just DJing them, I wanted to promote my own raves, and I wanted to be as much in that industry as possible. So yeah, I think, picking up flyers at raves and shops when I was a kid, I would see all these crazy graphics and I would just like trip out on them. Like, I want to make stuff like that someday, and yeah, visuals was kind of like a new thing. This was the mid 90s when I was growing up. So, I'd see some really old school, projector loops. There's groups like XFX, Brad Baker's XFX, that was like one of the companies that was he was an LA guy, but he was licensing his film loops for like all these different, visual installations at events. And then the other big one in town was OVT. And that's where Bello Verkhaus and VJ Tech and Brian Dressel, some of the guys that were making a lot of this content were, at the Chicago Midwest raves. They were like big visual crews at the time. Bello Verkhaus went on to go on to B Squared and XI Labs, and he's just been like an OG in the industry for as long as I can remember. I mean, those guys were doing visuals at the first raves I was going to 25 years ago, So yeah, I mean, that was just kind of like, a big thing in Chicago. The audiovisual community was really big. Computer in the 90s was a very exciting time. I got really wrapped up in web design and dropped out of high school when I was 18 to kind of join a web design firm in the city and have a suit and tie job. And then I kind of realized, I don't know, maybe corporate life wasn't for me. I remember in 99, there were 3 movies that came out at that time. There was The Matrix, there was Fight Club, and there was Office Space. And there was like 3 movies about dudes that worked in cubicles that just like had corporate life just beating the hell out of them. And I just decided I never wanted to be one of those guys. So I quit and went to film school in Vancouver, BC, where I studied computer animation, visual effects. And yeah, I guess that's kind of like the beginning of my visuals career right there.
Nice. That's awesome. That combination of movies is explains a lot, I think.
I felt like the universe was speaking to me, And somewhere between Neo, and Ron Livingston's character with the guy who's always in Office Space. I worked at a software company for a little while too, and we did everything from fixes for the Y2K problem to, Eurodollar was a new thing that all these business systems had to, start recognizing in their systems. And I just remember everything about that movie Office Space was like my life at 19 years old. I would touch the door handle and get the same static electric shock that the guy in the movie gets. I was like, this is just too close to home here. I need to get out of this.
Nice. If you like this clip, check out the rest of the clips and the full-length interviews. Links in the description.